Hoka makes some excellent hiking boots, but they're built for very different hikers. Most reviews just repeat what the brand says each boot is supposed to do. I'm going to show you actually what happens out on the trail, how they feel, where they fall short, and which ones truly hold up. This review is completely unsponsored. I bought every pair myself, no free gear, no brand influence. You're getting the honest, real-world feedback. Enjoy the cinematic footage. Let's start with number 5, the Hoka Transport Hike. This is the most unconventional boot in Hoka's hiking lineup, and it stands apart immediately once you understand what it is trying to do. Most Hoka boots are built around one core promise: maximum cushioning and long distance comfort. This one deliberately moves away from that formula. The stack height is lower than typical Hoka models, and the midsole is noticeably firmer. Under sustained descents, especially on hard surfaces like sandstone or compacted dirt, you will feel a lot more ground impact and accumulate much more foot fatigue compared to other boots in this ranking. That is not a flaw, it's actually a design decision. So why does it still make the list? Versatility. The Transport Hike is one of the most capable road-to-trail hybrid in this lineup. It's designed for users who do not start their hikes at the trailhead, but instead move through mixed environments, urban pavement, gravel paths, maintained trails, and eventually a little technical terrain. The upper plays a major role here. It uses the Cordura fabric, which is thinner and more breathable than traditional hiking boot materials, but it still offers solid abrasion resistance. It dries faster than the heavier uppers and doesn't feel overall bulky. The fit is relatively snug and secure, which helps maintain control when transitioning from flat surfaces to uneven ground. The Gore-Tex membrane provides solid waterproofing and is suitable for wet conditions. However, like all waterproof membranes, it still runs warmer than the non-waterproof alternatives, so it's better for moderate climates rather than extreme heat. Underfoot, the boot uses the Vibram Mega Grip outsole with 4mm lugs. It is a proven compound, and in testing across multiple terrains, tracks remain consistent and predictable. The lug pattern is spaced well enough to shed mud effectively, preventing any buildup that can compromise grip. This outsole configuration is particularly important for a hybrid boot. It allows the Transport Hike to maintain traction on real trails, but without feeling overly aggressive or unstable on pavement. However, there are clear limitations. The reduced cushioning around this area means it's not ideal for long distance hiking or multi-day trips where the cumulative impact becomes a major factor. If your priority is shock absorption, joint protection, or just all-day comfort, there are definitely better options in the Hoka lineup. Additionally, the price point is high relative to what you're getting in terms of cushioning and long distance performance. You're paying for versatility and materials, not maximum comfort. This is not the boot you want to buy if you want the classic Hoka experience. But if your use case involves commuting, travel, light hiking, and occasional technical terrain, this boot makes sense. If your focus is dedicated to hiking, especially over long distances or with heavy packs, you should definitely look elsewhere. So we rated the Hoka Transport Hike an 8.1 out of 10, and that ranks 5th for us. If any of these boots are already on your shortlist, do not pay full price before checking the links below. You may find a discount, and using them costs you nothing extra. Many reviewers get their gear for free, barely put it through real testing, and end up sounding overly excited while repeating brand talking points. We buy every pair ourselves and show you the real testing. Now getting back at it, at number 4 is the Hoka Mafate X. And yes, I understand this is technically not a hiking boot, but we're not making a list based on labels. We are ranking the best Hoka options for hiking, and for long distance trails, the Mafate X earns its place because none of the boots combine this much cushioning, energy return, and durability in a more lighter package. The biggest advantage here is the midsole. You get the PBA foam core with a massive 49mm heel stack. That gives you excellent shock absorption over longer distances, especially when your legs start accumulating fatigue. But this is not just one giant block of soft foam. The carbon fiber plate runs through the midsole and adds noticeable energy return, helping you drive forward instead of letting your foot just sink into the shoe itself. That's the combination that makes the Mafate X different. You get the protection and comfort needed for ultra distance trails without wearing a traditional hiking boot that weighs more and feels increasingly clunky. I weigh these at 12.5 ounces. Now that's heavy for a trail shoe, but compared with all the other boots in this ranking, it's still a lighter option for hikers who want to move farther and faster, especially with a hiking shoe rather than a boot. Underfoot, it has the Vibram Mega Grip outsole. It has reliable traction on wet and uneven terrain, while the overall construction is proven durable for more serious mileage. But there are real trade-offs with this one. This 49mm stack can feel unstable at times, especially on technical trails. The carbon plate and stiff construction also reduce the flexibility and ground feel. As you can see, the flexibility is nothing in the shoe. This is not what I would choose for scrambling, highly technical trails, or anyone who wants to feel closely connected to the ground. And because it's a low-cut shoe, you're not getting the ankle coverage or protection of a hiking boot. So buy the Mafate X if your priority is long-distance cushioning, energy return, and reducing fatigue over high mileage days. Skip it if you need ankle protection, a precise ground feel, or maximum stability. Now we scored this one an 8.6 out of 10, and that ranks 4th. So at number 3, we have the Hoka Anacapa Breeze. And this is the boot most hikers will overlook for one simple reason. It is not waterproof, but in hot weather, that is exactly why it works. Most waterproof hiking boots trap heat and moisture around your feet, but the Anacapa Breeze removes that Gore-Tex membrane and replaces it with engineered textile mesh built for airflow. I tested this boot across multiple summer seasons and the difference was immediate. Your feet stay noticeably cooler, especially during those humid hikes where waterproof boots can start feeling like ovens. That matters because the trapped heat and sweat do not make the hike uncomfortable. They also increase the risk of hot spots, blisters, and swelling as you add up the miles. The Breeze keeps the comfort of the Anacapa too, but it's far better suited for warm weather hiking. It has the compression molded EVA midsole. It provides plush cushioning and a really strong impact absorption on typical 3 to 5 mile hikes, sometimes longer backpacking trips. The wide toe box also gives your toes room to spread, and that becomes more important in the summer because your feet naturally swell in the heat. The hubble heel increases ground contact time on climbs, helping the boot feel more stable despite its lighter, more breathable construction. So you're not giving up all the support just to get better ventilation, but the trade-off is obvious. There is no waterproof membrane on this. It's also expensive for a boot with such a specific use case. So buy the Anacapa Breeze if you hike in heat, prioritize breathability and cushioning. Skip it if you need dependable waterproofing or one boot for every single season. The Hoka Anacapa Breeze scores a 9.1 out of 10 and scores 3rd on our list. Now coming in at number 2 is the Anacapa Mid Gore-Tex. And this is our number 1 rated most comfortable hiking boot. Not just from Hoka, actually across our entire collection of 45 hiking boots. The sugarcane based EVA midsole gives you that smooth cushioned Hoka ride without becoming so soft that the boot loses control on technical trails. The balance is what separates it. You get substantial shock absorption for longer hikes and backpacking trips, but the platform still feels stable when the trail becomes uneven. The toe box gives your toes plenty of room to spread, creating a wider and more secure base underfoot. And the ankle support is also protective without feeling restrictive. It lets your ankle move around naturally on a steep terrain instead of locking you into a stiff stride. Now it has the swallowtail heel here, which creates a smoother landing and transition through each step. And that matters on longer hikes because the boot works with your stride instead of making every mile feel heavier. But there are trade-offs. It feels stiff during the initial break-in period, and it is not lightweight. As the day went on, I noticed more foot fatigue and had a harder time controlling my footing. And the overall protection obviously is not as rugged as you would get from a more heavily reinforced backpacking boot. So this is not the boot I would choose for repeated abuse on sharp, highly technical terrain. But if comfort is your main priority, it's hard to beat. The Hoka Anacapa 2 scores a 9.2 out of 10 and ranks 2nd on our list. And before we get to number 1, this is not a hype channel. We do not take free gear, we don't read spec sheets back to you, and we don't protect brands. We buy everything ourselves, beat it up on real trips, and track what breaks, what lasts, and what is not worth your money. We show all of it, the good, the bad, and we sweat for this data. If you want honest results instead of polished opinions, subscribe. More real world testing is coming this summer. Now let's get into our number 1 rated boot, and that is the Hoka Kaha 3. This is not the lightest boot in the ranking, it is not the cheapest, but is the most complete boot I have tested. Because most hikers are not looking for the most technical feature list. They want a boot that keeps their feet from hurting after long hours on the trail. They want enough ankle support to feel secure when the terrain becomes uneven, and they want traction they can trust. And most importantly, a boot that will survive long enough to justify what they paid. Now the Kaha 3 delivers all 4 better than anything else in this ranking. Comfort is the first reason it earned number 1. It's got the dual density EVA midsole, and it gives you that cushioned Hoka feeling, but it doesn't collapse underneath your foot or make the boot feel unstable. That's the problem with some highly cushioned hiking boots. They feel great when you first put them on, but when you add on a backpack or more uneven terrain, the softness starts working against you. The Kaha 3 completely avoids that. The midsole softens under your foot here, however the outsole at the bottom stays firm, absorbing impact while locking the platform in place. On longer hikes, the nearly 2-inch midsole absorbs repeated impact that normally builds soreness through my feet and legs. And it has the meta rocker here, the curved outsole, which helps you through each step more efficiently and help reduce the heavy dragging feeling that can develop late in a hike. So comfort rated that a 9.5 out of 10, but comfort alone does not make this the best boot. What separates the Kaha 3 is that it combines that cushioning with some of the best stability I've tested. You get more than 7.5 inches of ankle coverage here at the top and a nice broad 4-foot platform. You also have this extended hubble heel that creates more contact with the ground. Your foot also sits down inside the structure of the boot instead of balancing on top of it. Think of it like the difference between standing on a flat platform versus being seated in a bucket seat. On a flat platform, your foot is exposed and more likely to shift side to side. While on the bucket style design, the sides of the boot wrap up around your foot and hold it in place. Throughout testing, I never felt vulnerable to an ankle roll, even on uneven terrain or when fatigue really started to affect my foot placement on this one. A part of that stability comes from the wide platform underfoot. It increases the leverage the boot has against the torquing forces that normally twist through the midsole on uneven terrain. So when you step on an angled rock or land slightly off center, narrower boots allow that force to concentrate and roll through the midsole, which is exactly what creates that unstable ankle tweaking feeling many hikers struggle with. The Kaha 3 spreads that force across a broader base, reducing how much of that midsole can twist and keeping your foot aligned on the platform. So for hikers who deal with instability issues, this directly targets one of the biggest pain points. Those small repeated moments where your foot wants to roll, but the boot doesn't give you enough resistance to stop it. And for hikers carrying a pack, dealing with previous ankle problems, or simply wanting more confidence, this is where the Kaha 3 earns its price. So stability and sport rated that a 5 out of 5. Traction is just as convincing on this boot. It's got the Vibram Mega Grip outsole, and it uses a stiff multi-directional lug pattern that grips without folding around rocks or losing its edge under pressure. Now I tested on steep basalt, wet limestone, wet granite, uneven inclines, and the Kaha 3 consistently gave a strong foothold without slipping. The hubble heel takes a little time to get used to here, but that extra contact time gives you better braking and stability when the trail points downhill. So we rated the traction a 9.5 out of 10. It has the Gore-Tex Invisible fit, and it kept my feet completely dry during our 10-minute submersion test and through creek crossings. I measured the flood height at around 7.6 inches, which gives you substantially more protection than lower cut hiking boots. And the membrane also feels less intrusive than traditional Gore-Tex. But this still leans more toward waterproof protection than maximum summer breathability, so waterproofness rated a 5 out of 5. Durability may be the strongest reason to spend the extra money. After more than 150 miles, I've not seen any meaningful breakdown in the outsole, lugs, cushioning, or the traditionally stitched construction. The midsole has not lost its balance, and the outsole still holds its original shape, so durability rated a 10 out of 10. Now there are real drawbacks. I weighed my men's size 10.5 at almost 21 ounces per boot, so you'll feel the extra weight more than you would in those other lightweight boots, especially on longer climbs. And the metal lacing hooks here are positioned awkwardly, and the laces can slip out when you're tying them. So at $240, this is a serious investment. This is not the boot for someone who wants an ultralight feel, maximum summer breathability, or budget boot. The Hoka Kaha 3 is not number one because it dominates in just like one isolated category. It's number one because it gives the widest range of hiker the fewest reasons to regret buying it. So there is our review, everybody. Thank you. Check the links down below before you buy. It costs you nothing extra, but makes all the difference to our business. A lot of YouTube reviewers get the gear for free and tell you what the brand wants you to say. We buy every product ourselves, test it objectively, and show you on camera what it actually does. Using those links helps keep these reviews unsponsored, unbiased, and focused on the truth, not keeping brands happy. Subscribe if you want objective testing, not brand talking points. Don't forget to check out mountaineerjourney.com where you can see the full written review there, as well as our best of guides and our individual reviews. And thank you again. We'll see you next time.